Okay, I don't have a mic, but Diesel and I are walking this path, so it goes that way. This is Love's, and I'm really curious to know what's down there, but the thing is let's go back. Welcome to Travel+Mystery, and I am your host, Justin Adair. Thank you for being here. Please make sure to subscribe.
Hey, what's up, guys? How you doing?
Today has been really rainy and cold, and so we've had like a cozy day, and he's had to drive most of the day. But on today's episode, I want to reflect a little bit. I want to talk about some topics that are personal to me. I also want to do the ghost tube and talk to some ghosts. And, you know, it's cold. It's cold. Let's get into it.
For people who go no contact, often no one thinks about the actual person who went no contact and what they've endured and what they've had to go through. You're called heartless, you're called selfish, you're called mean, you're called whatever because you simply set boundaries. People often get you so confused and labeled, and it's wrong, and I'm tired of hearing it. And before y'all say, oh, forgiveness, you can forgive and still set boundaries, y'all. You don't have to just keep accepting the same old trauma from somebody just off the strength of y'all being family.
Oh. Okay. Let's see if there's any spirits here. Is there anybody here that would like to talk? Is there anyone here that would like to talk? You want to say hello? We're doing a segment over family. Do you want to talk about who you are? Oh.
Stressed.
Stressed. Oh, you're stressed? Okay. Why are you stressed? You want to talk about that? I could be your therapist. What's stressing you out? Me?
Have you been before?
Have I been stressed before? Yeah, I have.
I'm not sure.
You're not sure if I've been stressed? What are you stressed about? What do you want to talk about?
Her.
You want to talk about her?
I can't say.
You can't say. You can't. Why? Why can't you say?
Father.
Because of the father? Because of her father? That's so funny that you said father. This video is about family and
Give
no...
it to me.
Oh, okay. That was a little much. Okay. This video is about family. So your father, or the father of a girl, he was aggressive.
Sometimes.
He was aggressive sometimes. Okay. What was his name? Does he have a name? Is there anything else you want to talk about? Are you done talking? You want to say one more thing? Anything at all?
Succeed.
Succeed.
Amy.
Amy. Is that her? The her you were talking about earlier? Okay, let me catch my breath. I decided to take Diesel with me. Whew. Going no contact with your family. There are a lot of people that say this is a wrong thing to do. The traditional thing is that we're family. You're supposed to love one another. You're supposed to be there for each other, support one another, no matter what. But in this day and age, and as time goes by, people are recognizing just because you come from family, that doesn't mean that you get a free pass to be toxic. In this life, we choose whether or not we want to continue cycles. I think when something is just unhealthy, it's time to decide why that's unhealthy. When you've talked about something, or if you try to talk about something and a family member won't change, or they decide that you're being crazy, or they try to point fingers at you, just because you don't talk to your family, that doesn't mean that you hate them. That doesn't mean that you feel like they hate you. It just means that I am on a certain path or my journey and be the same person that you are. I don't have to walk down the same path that you did. They feel sad because they see their kids as property rather than people. I feel like there's a lot of deconstructing that we've tried to do. Like, yes, I respect the generation that came before me, and not everybody is like that. If you're a certain generation, not everybody thinks that way. Hey, I am giving you, this is my child. I want you to watch them. Make sure that this doesn't happen. Make sure that that doesn't happen. And someone says, well, you don't tell me how to raise children because I raised you. It's all about mindsets and perspective. If your family thinks that you're mentally ill for being gay, or thinks and hints at going to conversion camps, then yeah, I think it's time to move on. I think it's time to say, like, hey, I'm not saying you don't love me, but you don't understand enough to respect me. That's not okay. It's not. It's not okay with me. Things happen that, we didn't ask for. So going no contact means you're ending the cycle. A lot of the times, people would like to say that you're acting like a victim because you're the one decided to go no contact. Grow up. But nobody points the finger at the person that they went no contact for. It's usually, well, that's just how they are. That's just who they are. So the contradiction being, it's okay for you because you're older, but it's not okay for me because you don't think that I should have any respect because I'm younger. Look, I can love you, but over there. I wish the best for you, but over there. I think it's a very brave and mature thing to say, I've done this. I've hit my head against the wall enough times. I've went in circles enough times. I think it's time for me to stop going in circles. Do I sparkle in the sunlight? We went from cold weather to warm weather. Thank you for watching Travel+Mystery. I am building this channel as I go along. Your support means everything. If you subscribe, like the video, do what you can because we do what we can with what we got. For those who don't know, I am dating a nun, a sister. The Sisters of Perpetual Indulgence. If you go to this link, you can contact them for resources. If you or somebody you know is struggling or got kicked out and needs somewhere to stay, have nowhere to go, I will link it here in the description, and I will also link, or the link is in my TikTok link tree if you follow me on TikTok. If you are someone who has gotten kicked out, no matter what age, no matter what gender, no matter if you're straight or gay, you can contact the Sisters of Perpetual Indulgence and they will help give you resources. You can also go on the website and check out their events, maybe how to volunteer, get in with the sisters if you like. They're accepting of everyone. The work that they're doing and the commitment that they have is honestly, it's amazing, and it leaves me speechless. And I'm so happy to be dating someone who
is an activist and is continuing to be
a big part in the organization. In this interview, he will be talking about his journey with his family dynamic and his self-growth journey. So let's get into it. Hey guys, before we get into this interview, I want to give a warning. Discussions of abuse and neglect, viewer discretion is advised. So you are Mr. Frank Allen Perry, the one and only.
Yep.
And I just wanted to start out with some warm-up questions just to kind of warm up a little bit. Lady Gaga or Madonna? Which one would you choose?
Oh gosh. Well, it just depends. I would probably say Lady Gaga because Madonna has gone absolutely berserk. Now, if it was like 80s Madonna, that I'd be all about that. But I would have to say Lady Gaga.
What is your favorite color?
My favorite color is purple. The reason why it's my favorite is because I was a huge fan of Prince, and he always said that purple was the color of sexual freedom.
Nice. Okay, so what's your favorite Prince song?
My favorite Prince song is Three Chains of Gold, which is off of the album he had that just had a symbol on the cover.
Wow, so you're a real fan of that. Okay, so today's video, or the video that I am working on, is about going no contact with family.
Hmm.
And you and I have messaged a little bit about that and the reason why you decided to do the interview. And but can you just start off by talking about where you're from and what your childhood was like?
Absolutely. So I was born in the town, well, no, it's the city of Lowell, Massachusetts. I grew up in Litchfield, New Hampshire. Um, and that was a great time. It was Litchfield, New Hampshire was kind of like a small town. Not like those movies you see where it's like, Steel Magnolias, where it's like this tiny little town and they're all just hanging out in the backyard. It was a decent sized town, but it was pretty small to the point where we actually had to go to a different town for high school because we didn't have our own high school. So we had a choice. We could go to one or the other. Um, so that's how small Litchfield was. Yeah, I mean, I don't even think we had one. We probably had like a warning light, but that was about it. I can't even think of any street lights. But I mean, now it's grown so much that, they have that type of stuff there. But yeah, when I was growing up there, it was all developing still. And from what I heard, it's really grown since then. So we were not a religious family, but I was baptized. I think it was just one of those things that they did just to check off the box. But when I think about my childhood, I was the oldest of four kids. Um, my mom and dad had me when they were 18 years old, which back in those days, that was very taboo. Not like these days where it seems like they're coming out earlier and earlier.
Hmm.
When I when I think about my childhood, it was pretty challenging. It was not pleasurable by any means, but I will say that that can't be 100% blamed on my parents. I was a difficult person to handle, but there was just a lot of stuff that happened that should not have happened. Whereas if it happened today, I would have been taken away from my mom and dad. There was physical abuse, and I talked to my guidance counselor when I was in second grade. But back then, it just seemed like if you talked to them about that stuff, then they would in turn call the parents and let them know. So that happened to me a few times. So I had to learn to just deal with this stuff internally.
What happened to where you went no contact?
So when I turned 18, it was very strange. I still remember it like it was yesterday. I came home from work. At that time, I was a certified nurse's aide. When I came home from work, the whole family was sitting in the living room, which I thought was kind of bizarre.
Hmm.
So when I came in, my dad asked me if I was sick, and I said, "No, I'm feeling fine. What do you mean?" And he was referring to some things I was looking up on the internet. Now, back then, the internet was dial up, so we didn't know how to clear search histories or anything like that because it was still fairly new to us. And, we had to connect with a free CD that would give us, minutes on the internet. So he asked me that question, and I said, "No, I'm not. I'm fine." And then he brought that up, and I was so embarrassed. Um, After that conversation, he had brought up stuff about how I tease my sister, I this, I that. And then he told me I had 2 hours to get out of the house.
And just to be clear, it was what on the something on the computer that was found, was it had anything to do with like your sexuality or
It did because I knew for the very long time who I was. I think I remember it back to fifth grade. So I was not, I don't think it was Google at the time. I forget what it was probably Yahoo. So I was trying to look up stuff to kind of understand myself a little bit better, a little bit more in detail. Um, so that's the type of stuff they saw. I don't know how they found search history because again, that wasn't a thing back then, but that was the type of stuff that they found or my dad found.
Obviously, you had to kind of deal with all of that internally, but what was your resources? Like, where did you end up going? Was there family, other family members or friends?
So, uh, back in the day when we had to actually read books and magazines, I will never forget. I was on a trip with a friend of mine and her family, and it was to Orlando, Florida. First time I've ever been to Disney. I happened to go into a bookstore, just a regular bookstore that it was probably like a Barnes and Nobles type of place, and I found this magazine, this XY magazine, which really didn't have much material to teach you about stuff, but it was just something you could sit there, look at, and feel comfortable about what you actually saw. So I had that, but I really didn't have any resources because at the time there was really nothing out there to find out about things. It was just one of those shh, don't talk about it. Whereas today, like with the people who are growing up now, it's just so commonplace, right? It's commonplace. It's a conversation that doesn't even need to be had because it's not even that big of a deal anymore.
Who were your idols growing up then? Who inspired you? And it doesn't have to be anyone famous.
So if there was one person I could, well, actually, there's two people. So the first one would have been my grandmother. I absolutely loved my grandmother. I'll never forget. I think I was 20 something years old at the time. And I was talking about how I loved Will and Grace. I thought it was such a funny show. And I'll never forget, she turned to me and said, "Well, I want you to find your grace." And I couldn't stop laughing at her for that. But she was always so understanding. One of the things she said to me that I'll never forget was, "We knew what your mother and father were doing to you. We just couldn't say anything because if we did, then we would never see you or your brothers or your brother and your sisters. So we had to keep our mouths quiet." The other person was actually my music teacher all through high school. She was funny because like yourself, I was a performer. I played piano. I wrote my own music. And I remember telling her that I wanted to be in some type of form of music, whether it be a performer or a producer, whatever the case may be. And with her, the key thing that I will never forget was, "That's great, but I think you'd make a good business person." Now, at the time, I was upset at her for saying that, but now that I'm older, I understand what she was talking about.
She saw something in you that you didn't see right away.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
that's beautiful. So we all have that light bulb moment that our parents are not perfect. My question is, what was the light bulb moment for you that you realized this abuse wasn't about me?
Hmm. So when I think about it, like the only thing I can really think about was what the turning point was for me was my mom had me on the floor and she was like punching me in the head or something like that. And I know that's not funny, but looking back at it now, it still cracks me up. I think I was probably like 15. And she was so upset. She said to me, "I had to miss a Queen concert because of you." To which I replied, "Well, you may have missed a queen, but you got a queen." So that's one of the things where all of a sudden the light bulb went off in my head. I mean, now that I'm older, I completely understand why she was upset about missing that concert because I would be upset. Like now that I know all about, Freddie Mercury and Queen, I most definitely would have been upset, but I probably would have handled the situation differently.
Oh, for sure. And right, that's very interesting. And I also feel like that's such a answer that makes people feel not alone because I too feel like it came in a moment of standing up for myself. Like,
Hmm.
okay, you can only be pushed so far until you just stand tall and
Exactly.
yeah. So if you were to give a message to 18-year-old Frank, what would the message be?
The message, oh gosh, these are always such interesting questions because it makes you think.
I hope
I
that I am in a good way.
but if I had to tell 18-year-old Frank, I would probably say, hey, look, you know what? You have big things coming. You just don't know it yet. Just be patient. Just be cautious. But there are big things up ahead for you. Trust me. Because I don't want to say that, oh, it gets better, because that, people use that all the time. But I would just hey, be patient. Um, just just stick in there because it's going to get better soon. And there are big things coming your way.
Is there anything that you would, any advice that you would give to the LGBTQ plus community in general? Don't hold back. Is there anything that you would tell the community, or, maybe like feel that we need to shift in a different direction or whatever, what have you?
Yeah. So I would say the biggest message I would have is be nice. We have some pretty vicious people out there who, are in the community that like to judge others who are part of their community. This is the type of stuff we were trying to get away from, right? So, for people like myself who were growing up, when I was growing up, um, it was tough enough already. Why make it more difficult? We still see that today where, you get the dirty looks because you look this way or you sound that way, or you want to do this, you want to do that. Be nice, be kind, because we all came from the same type of situation, whether our family was understanding or they weren't understanding. Stop being vicious to your fellow community.
Very important to note that if you're an alpha, you're not going to make someone else confused about who
Mhm.
they are and their sexuality. That's not what an alpha is.
Right.
And yeah, I couldn't say it better myself. Like
No,
it's very
that's great.
heartening that it hurts that, as people who are gay, we deal with that and we work so hard to keep our peace and accept
Mhm.
ourselves and sexuality that, like you said, purple meaning, openness of sexuality, and being able to do that. And we go through it enough in the heterosexual realm.
Mhm.
We need to be like, hey, just because you walk with your hips a little bit, that doesn't mean that you're less of a man, you know?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Well, I mean, that's really all of the questions that I had. And is there anything else that you would just like to say or mention or get off your chest with this topic?
Yeah, so we talked about leaving the family or having the family or the family making us leave. One of the things I will say is over the past 2 years, I've actually reconnected with my little brother, and we were really close growing up. It was devastating when I had to leave. So I am proud to say that I have been able to spend some time with him face to face, whether it be up in New Hampshire. He came to Georgia once. My husband and I went to visit Brian, that's his name. We went to visit my brother not too long ago. Actually, it was about a year ago before we went to Vegas. But he, one of the things I remember is the conversation him and I had when we went to dinner one night. And he said to me, Frank, I had no idea what mom and dad were doing to you. I wish I had said something, and for me, that was very, very touching because, interesting side note, my brother is also gay.
Oh,
And
wow.
yes, he came out probably before he went to college. Um, so that was interesting for me to find out. He's married. They live in this beautiful house up in New Hampshire, but um, I'm very thankful for him and his understanding and him waking up and keeping in contact with me. One of the best lines he ever said to me was, Frank, mom and dad are just horrible people. And that was coming from him. Like there was nothing that I said that was making him lead to that conclusion. That was him just volunteering that information. So again, don't give up. Great things are on the way.
What's up, guys? Thank you so much for watching. If you like this content and you like this channel, please support it by subscribing, liking the video. I really appreciate you being here. Go ahead and leave a green heart in the comments for mental health if you are someone struggling or had to go non-contact with your parents. I love you. You're not alone. And I hope that you have a wonderful day. Thank you for watching.